দর্শক আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি সবাইকে চ্যানেল 24 এর নিয়মিত আয়োজন সিও স্টকে। আজকে আমরা আলোচনা করব বাংলাদেশের প্রপার্টি মার্কেট নিয়ে। তবে রিয়েল এস্টেট সেক্টর নিয়ে যে আলোচনা, আমরা একটু তার বাইরে চলে যেতে চাই। আমাদের সাথে আজকে বি প্রপার্টির সিইও মার্ক নসওয়ে তিনি আছেন। আপনারা জানেন যে বি প্রপার্টি 2016 সালে বাংলাদেশে অপারেশন শুরু করে এবং ই কমার্সের যেই ট্রেডিশনাল বিজনেস বা ধ্যান ধারণা, এর বাইরে গিয়ে তাদের কিছু কর্মকাণ্ড আছে। বর্তমানে তাদের গুরুত্বের জায়গা যেটা, যে বাংলাদেশের সেকেন্ড হ্যান্ড প্রপার্টি মার্কেট, এবং এইটা নিয়ে তাদের কিছু পরিকল্পনার কথা আমরা আজকের অতিথির কাছ থেকে শুনব। আমরা জানি যে বাংলাদেশের প্রেক্ষিতে এটি একটি অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ মার্কেট বিভিন্ন কারণেই, এবং আরও একটা বিষয় হচ্ছে যে গেল কয়েক মাস ধরেই এইটার যে কাঁচামাল প্রায় সব কিছুরই দাম ঊর্ধ্বগতিতে চলে গেছে। এই কারণে এই খাত আসলে আদৌ ক্ষতিগ্রস্ত হবে কিনা বা কতটুকু ক্ষতিগ্রস্ত হতে পারে, সেই বিষয়গুলো আমরা আজকের অতিথির কাছ থেকে জানার চেষ্টা করব। Welcome to our program and thanks for joining with us.
Thanks, Iqbal. How are you?
Sir, my first question to you, why B Property have come to Bangladesh, and what is your achievement last 6 years?
Sure. So we started our operations in 2016, and the main reason for that was we saw a big need in Bangladesh for modern, world-class real estate solutions for assisting buyers and sellers, tenants and landlords, to assist with the transactions, buying and selling property. And having worked in other countries that were developing similar to Bangladesh, we realized that there are needs of the people here, there are needs of the industry that haven't been solved yet. And it needs companies like B Property to have then been launched to provide those solutions to the people of this country. So we started our operations in 2016. We've now grown to 8 offices in Dhaka, 1 office in Tejgaon. We have over 600 staff. We've trained over 2,000 people in the real estate sector here.
You must have an analysis on the property market of Bangladesh. Can you share me?
So the analysis in terms of transactions is that we estimate that there are about 2 lakh to 3 lakh transactions that happen on the secondary market per year. Now there are a lot of additional transactions over and above that happen which are probably not registered. But we estimate that registrations are between 2 lakh and 3 lakh transactions. And if you compare that with the amount of properties that developers build per year and therefore transact, we think that the secondary market is about 20 times as big as the primary market. The need is more in the secondary market too, because you need legal solutions, you need advice, you need assistance when it comes to understanding valuations, you need assistance with regards to validating property documents and then overall transfer. So the solution is bigger, the market size is bigger, the need is bigger, and that's why we've chosen to operate in the secondary market.
Sir, we know you have same operation in the different country in different name. So what's the comparison? Can you share me some comparison to another country of Bangladesh?
So B Property was started by EMPG, who are headquartered out of the UAE, and EMPG operates in 16 countries. Now the solutions that the group provide are slightly different to what we do here in Bangladesh, and a lot of the other group companies are actually focused on the primary sector as well as real estate development. Bangladesh started with a focus on the secondary market because that's where we felt the biggest need from the country point of view was, and the customers that we spoke to, we felt that the biggest need was in the secondary market to assist and help them with finding property options. And that's the challenge that we undertook. And that's where our focus is, our systems, our infrastructure has been built to support the secondary market here.
So is it possible to make it 100% trustworthy to the customer?
Which is why and I think it is, and that's why we have all of our services that we offer. We're fully transparent. We believe in transparency. We believe in the need to be open because of the size of investment that a buyer is undertaking. But we also recognize the fact that there is a human element, there is the trust required. We provide the legal services, we provide the document checks, we provide the valuation services, We have a team of 35 in-house lawyers that work with our clients to give them the confidence on the transactions itself.
Okay, sir, I'm coming back to you after
Sure.
a short break. দর্শক, এই মুহূর্তে ছোট্ট একটা বিরতির সময় হয়েছে। সিও স্টকে সাথে থাকবেন আমাদের। দর্শক, আরও একবার স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি সিও স্টকে। আজকে আলোচনা করছি বাংলাদেশের প্রপার্টি মার্কেট নিয়ে। বি প্রপার্টির সিইও মার্ক নজওর্দি, তিনি আমাদের আজকের অতিথি। আমরা এতক্ষণ কথা বলছিলাম এদেশে তাদের ব্যবসা বাণিজ্যের কী ধরন বা কী ধরনের সেবা তারা ক্রেতাদেরকে দিতে চায়, সেই বিষয়গুলো তিনি ব্যাখ্যা করছিলেন। আরও কিছু বিষয় তার কাছ থেকে আমরা আবারও জানবো। ওয়েলকাম ব্যাক ইউ এগেইন, স্যার। I have another question to you. You know that uprising property cost is a problem in our country, and material cost is very high for few months globally. So how it would be affected to this sector?
It's a big challenge, and it's not one that's just limited to Bangladesh. It's actually limited, as you mentioned, globally. What we've seen is costs for certain raw materials increase as much as 40-50%. And even unfortunately, if you look at what's happening with the local currency versus the dollar at the moment, just with the war, unfortunately, in Russia, Ukraine, it's increasing the costs even more. So definitely what the impact it's going to have is that for developers, it will create more challenges with regards to the rising costs of their project. And therefore potentially push the prices up of the apartments that they are looking to hand over. Now, that will ultimately impact in two things. One is rising costs of real estate, or a slightly poorer material, poorer quality, should I say, in the project to then maintain the sales price or the revenue price. So it will, you'll see it impacted in both of those areas.
Sir, just interrupt for a point. You are not in construction, you are just buy and sell. So what would be the specific effect on the B property?
Sure, if anything, it does affect us, right? Because obviously it changes the price of properties in the market. So if the prices of new developments are going up, it does impact the secondary market in some form. So for us, what it does is it will actually look to increase the number of customers that are looking for a secondary product, because secondary products tend to be cheaper than a primary product. Also, people will stop looking to move. They might choose to renovate their own home. They might choose to spend money on their own home, changing it, adding a bedroom, changing the layout, as opposed to looking to move. So we'll tend to see the impact of that rising costs either through an increase in interior options, but importantly, or for us, more people will look at the secondary market because those options are, they're more options and they are cheaper.
So you are saying again and again about the secondary market in Bangladesh, and you have some plan on this specifically. Sure. So why secondary market is important for Bangladesh, and why you are working on it?
The secondary market is important for any country. You know, if you look at Bangladesh, where it is now in its development as a country and its development as an economy, you've got a growing middle class. But that middle class wants to get on the property ladder. You've also now got changing dynamics within the family. So younger couples, newly married couples, don't necessarily want to live with mum and dad anymore. They might want to live in their own property. They want to grow their own family, but they can't afford to have their own property. And the impact of all of this is that they want to invest, they want to buy their own property, they can't afford to buy a brand new one. So they'll now look at the secondary market to find that option, find that security. But they might only stay in that property for 5-6 years until their family size gets bigger. Then they'll sell that property and then move into another one.
So what about the prospect of this market in the country?
I think the secondary market will only continue to grow. I think the secondary market and growth in the secondary market also provides options for developers, because it's an asset. Asset values increase, people make therefore more money. That money that they make on selling a property can be invested in another secondary product, or alternatively in a brand new product, which obviously developers want to benefit from. So a successful growing secondary market is also important for the overall economy. There's taxes obviously paid on the secondary product, so it helps the government and tax collections, which they can reinvest in government projects to develop the infrastructure in the country too. So a growing successful secondary market is vital for the growth of the country, the development of the country, as well as the development of the primary real estate market.
So it's time to take another break for us, yeah? দর্শক আরও একটা ছোট্ট বিরতির সময় হয়েছে সিও স্টকে, সাথেই থাকবেন। দর্শক আরও একবার স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি সিও স্টকে। আলোচনা করছি বাংলাদেশের প্রপার্টি মার্কেট নিয়ে। বি প্রপার্টির সিইও মার্ক নজরদি, তিনি আমাদের আজকের অতিথি। আপনারা জানেন যে বি প্রপার্টি বাংলাদেশের প্রপার্টি সেল, বাই এবং হ্যান্ড ওভার বা আমরা যদি ভাড়ার কথাও বলি সেই কার্যক্রম এবং গেল 6 বছর ধরে বাংলাদেশে কাজ করছে। আমরা আজকের অতিথির কাছ থেকে তাদের পরিকল্পনা সম্পর্কে জানবো। স্যার, ওয়েলকাম ইউ এগেইন। We know that property market involves a huge number of agency, government or non-government. Whenever you want to hand over a property or sell a property or buy a property, there have some legal limitations or crisis. So how it will solve by you, and how much it would be easier to hand over or sell?
So with every property that we work with, we have already conducted our own legal checks on that property. As I mentioned, we have 35 or over 35 in-house lawyers that sit in all of our area offices that vet and check every document for the properties that we transact. So we do a lot of the work for both the buyer and the seller already before they look to transfer, so that they have the confidence in the property that they're wanting to buy. We solve those problems with Rajuk. We work with the different government agencies as much as possible in order to help collect documentation, solve documentation challenges. That's part of our job, that's part of the service that we provide. And I'd like to think that the private sector can work with public sector and government agencies to help improve the overall trust and transparency within the industry.
What do you have future plan with B property in Bangladesh?
So we've already started working with banks. We believe that there needs to be closer relationships between banks and the real estate industry, especially companies like us, for the provision of financing options that are secure for banks, better valuation models for properties that secure the money that's lent by banks. So we've started working with 5 banks now around improved valuation models, improved processing for home loans. We've started interior solutions. We've improving our processes on legal documentation and the services that we provide. We've also launched a rental product which helps to collect rent, distribute that to NRBs, as well as maintain and manage properties for the benefit of the tenant, so that they have quicker access and to solving some challenges that happen within rental properties every day. So we want to make sure that every service that is required within the real estate industry can be found through B Property.
You are talking about the cost of the property and also some points. And every month, how was your growth rate in last 5 or 6 years, you're saying also. But in terms of rising cost of the property, people need property but they don't have much more money, or he cannot adjust the pricing cost. So do you have any specific plan on that point?
We don't, other than working with the banks to, as I said, to improve their valuation models. Obviously we don't control taxes. We don't control where the banks are going to lend. All we can do is actually help work with the banks to ensure that they have a better understanding of their customers, a better valuation on the properties. Thirdly, also that in the event that there is a default on a property, that they can sell it to liquidate their investment, or their assets, should I say. So we want to work with the banks to improve the security that they have, so that there's reduced defaulter loans, which obviously then improves the confidence levels around banks and how much they can lend. As I said, we don't control the costs around taxes and transfers, but we can definitely work with those stakeholders to give them better information, better understanding of how they can reduce risk. And I think with reduced risk, then overall costs can come down and more transactions can happen.
Sir, thank you. My last question to you. Do you have any plan to involve yourself in the construction sector in Bangladesh?
We've looked at it. We know we have a brand that people trust. We know we have the information on what customers are looking for and what property solutions are. We've definitely been asked to do it by different landowners because of the trust that they have with B Property. So it is definitely something that we have looked at. I can't commit at this stage that that's something that we will do, but it's definitely an option for us in the future.
Thank you very much, sir. We are to end of our program. Thanks for joining with us.
Thank you.
দর্শকের সাথে শেষ করছি আজকের মতো সিও স্টক। ভালো থাকবেন সবাই।